Have you ever wondered, is fried food really bad for you? Before we get started, please subscribe, like, and share this video from Change Skin. And remember, healthy skin starts with healthy habits. We've heard it for years. Don't eat fried chicken. Stay away from French fries. Fried food isn't healthy. But maybe there's another question we should be asking. Is it only the food that's the problem? Or is it also the oil we're frying it in? Think about it. What kind of oil is being used? How hot does that oil get? How long has it been sitting in that fryer? And here's the question most of us probably never ask. How many times has that oil been heated and used? That's where this conversation gets interesting, because fried food isn't as simple as saying, fried equals bad. Let's break it down. First, changing your cooking oil doesn't magically turn French fries into broccoli. If you deep fry food, it can absorb some of that oil. That can add more fat and calories to your meal. And the food itself still matters. Fried vegetables, fried fish, French fries, and heavily breaded fried chicken aren't suddenly the same food just because they're cooked in oil. Your portion matters. How often you eat fried food matters, and what the rest of your diet looks like matters. But there's another part of this story that doesn't get talked about nearly as much. The oil itself. When cooking oil gets very hot, it doesn't remain exactly the same. Heat, oxygen, moisture from food, and the amount of time that oil is heated can cause changes in the oil. Scientists have names for some of these processes: oxidation, hydrolysis, polymerization. But don't worry, we're not having chemistry class today. Here's the important part. The longer an oil is exposed to frying conditions, the more its quality can change. And that brings us to something really interesting: reusing frying oil. Imagine frying something at home. You put oil into a pan. You cook your food. You're finished. Now imagine a busy restaurant. French fries go in. They come out. Another order goes in. Then another. And another. Commercial restaurants can filter, maintain, and replace their frying oil according to their procedures. So this doesn't mean every restaurant is using bad oil, but oil doesn't last forever. Repeated heating and prolonged frying can contribute to the oil breaking down. Temperature matters. The type of oil matters. How long it's used matters, and how the oil is maintained matters. So, maybe instead of simply asking, is restaurant fried food bad? Ask a better question. How is the frying oil being managed? And that brings us to another big question. Does using a healthier oil make fried food healthier? That's what we're talking about next. So, let's continue with the big question. What if I use a healthier oil? What about avocado oil, olive oil, peanut oil, canola oil? Does using a better oil suddenly make deep-fried food healthy? Not necessarily. Different oils have different properties. Some oils are more suitable for higher temperature cooking than others. But there's no magic bottle of oil that gives us unlimited fried chicken and French fries. I wish it were that easy. The type of oil is one part of the equation. Temperature is another. How long the oil is heated is another. Repeated heating is another. The food itself matters. Your portion matters. And how often you're eating fried food matters. That's why asking, what's the healthiest frying oil, doesn't tell the whole story. And this brings us to something much bigger. We have a habit of putting food into two categories: good food and bad food. But healthy eating isn't always that simple. Enjoying fried chicken occasionally is very different from eating fried and highly processed foods every day. So, this isn't about making you afraid of fried food. It's about making you think about your habits. What am I eating? How is it prepared? What kind of oil am I using at home? Am I overheating that oil? Am I reusing it over and over? How large are my portions? And how often am I eating this way? Those questions tell us a lot more than simply saying, fried food is bad. Now you might be wondering, what does any of this have to do with skincare? This is where Noel's philosophy behind Change Skin comes in. Noel is 61, and one thing he talks about constantly is that his personal skincare routine isn't only about what he puts on his face. He pays attention to his food, his water, his movement, his skincare, and his everyday habits. That's why Noel always says, healthy skin starts with healthy habits. Because taking care of yourself isn't about finding one miracle product. And it isn't about eating one perfect meal. It's about the things you repeatedly do. Your food, your water, your sleep, your movement, your skincare, and your consistency. That's also the thinking behind Noel's 90-day planner. It's about becoming more aware of those everyday habits. Not trying to become perfect overnight, just making better choices, one day at a time. So here's the challenge. Can you give yourself 90 days? 90 days of paying closer attention to what you're eating, how much water you're drinking, how you're sleeping, how much you're moving, and how consistently you're taking care of your skin. And the next time somebody tells you, fried food is bad for you, don't just accept the simple answer. Ask, what are we frying? What are we frying it in? How was that oil used? And how often are we eating it? Now I want to hear from you. What's your favorite fried food? Fried chicken? French fries? Fried fish? Something else? Tell us in the comments. And here's an even better question. What oil do you use when you fry food at home? Remember, healthy skin starts with healthy habits. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like, and share this video from Change Skin. And remember, healthy skin starts with healthy habits. We'll see you next time.